My name is Amara, and I come from a small village where dust knows your name, and hunger visits like an old friend. Life here is simple. Some say too simple. You wake, fetch water, sweep the compound, and pray your stomach forgets it's empty. I was 17 when I heard the news that changed everything. It came in whispers, just like most rumors in our village. There will be a big wedding at the chief's compound, Mama said one evening while pounding yam with sweat dripping from her neck. The chief's son is bringing a wife from the city. My ears stood. City? Yes, Mama nodded, looking at me from the corner of her eyes. A proper girl, university graduate, beautiful. They say she speaks English through her nose. I didn't ask anything else, but my mind danced. In our village, weddings were not just celebrations. They were miracles. People wear clothes they had kept hidden for years. Rice and chicken appears like magic. Drummers will come from 3 villages away. The air will smell like perfume and fresh palm wine. But this wedding, was different. It was not just a wedding. It was a royal event, and I knew, deep in my heart, that I wanted to be there, even if I had no invitation. That night, I laid on my mat, staring at the cracked ceiling. The wind whispered through the holes in the mud wall. I imagined the bride, her dress, her makeup, the smile on her lips. I had never worn a dress that wasn't borrowed or torn. I had never eaten rice that wasn't mixed with sand or served with big meat. I had never danced freely, without shame of my worn slippers. But now, something in me burned. I wanted to go. I needed to see beauty, to escape the dust and sweat, even for one day. The next morning I told Mama, I want to go to the wedding. She looked at me like I had asked to borrow the moon. Go where? She scoffed. To the chief's compound? With what clothes? With which face? You want to disgrace me? But Mama, she raised her hand. I stopped talking. Don't let your hunger for city things kill you. Stay where you belong. I bit my lips and said nothing, but my heart did not listen. The fire was already burning. I told my best friend, Ngozi, who was always barefoot but always had stories. You want to go? She whispered, eyes wide with mischief. I nodded. Even if I have to hide in the bush and just peep, she laughed. You're mad. Yes, I know, I replied her. She paused, then said, I have one dress. My cousin left it when she visited. It's tight, but we can make it work. I smiled. But you'll owe me. I swear. We met behind the church. The dress was green with small golden flowers, torn under the arm and missing 2 buttons, but to me, it was a queen's robe. You'll need powder, she added, pulling out an old tin from her nylon bag. I rubbed my face. It turned white like a masquerade. Ngozi gave me earrings too, heavy, fake gold. When I looked in the broken mirror she held up, I did not see myself. I saw someone who could belong in a wedding, or at least someone who could pretend. The village buzzed. Drums echoed from the chief's compound. Women sang. Children ran after motorbikes with ribbons tied to them. I had left home early before Mama returned from the stream. I wore Ngozi's dress, tightened my wrapper, and wrapped my head in a scarf to hide my face. I reached the edge of the crowd and stood near a tree. No one noticed me. Everyone was too busy watching dancers twist their waists like ropes. The compound was filled with white tents, plastic chairs, a big canopy with golden cloth. The chief's compound had never looked so rich. I moved closer, blending into the people who came from far villages. Someone pushed past me. I saw a woman with a tray of meat. I followed her. She entered through a side gate. I slipped in behind her. No one stopped me as I entered. I was inside the wedding venue. I stood quietly beside a table, eyes wide. There were flowers, real flowers, bowls of jollof rice steaming, men with cameras shouting instructions. And there, in the middle of it all, sat the groom, tall, calm, face like carved stone. I had seen him before from afar. His name was Cheeky, the chief's only son. He left the village long ago and returned with a degree, a car, and power. I was, however, more eager to see the bride. I searched for her. I wanted to see the woman who would marry a man like Cheeky. But before I could find her, a hand grabbed my arm. "You! What are you doing here?" It was an old woman with a face like bitter cola. Her wrapper was stained with palm oil. I just... You think this is a movie? Come and help, lazy girl. She pulled me to the back where women were shouting over who stole meat and who broke a plate. Serve drinks, arrange chairs, stop standing like a tree. I obeyed. It was not what I planned, but at least I was inside. I served men with long arms and loud mouths. I bent, smiled, greeted, and then I heard a voice behind me. "She's not from the team." I turned. It was a man in a suit. "She's not on the list," he said. The old woman waved her hand. "She's helping. Let her help." They argued. Then I heard the crowd go quiet. Drums stopped. All heads turned. "She's here." She came out of a black car with tinted windows. A woman stepped out first, then another, then the bride. My mouth fell open. She was beautiful like a dream, light-skinned, tall, with a dress that sparkled like water. Her neck wore diamonds. Her eyes did not blink. But her face did not smile. As she walked in, people clapped and cheered, but I saw her hand tremble. She sat beside the groom. They didn't touch. They didn't even look at each other. They both stared ahead like strangers. And then I saw her whisper something to the woman beside her. I moved closer, pretending to collect used cups. The woman whispered back, "It's too late." But the bride's lips tightened, and then she stood up. She stood up slowly, brushing her dress with trembling hands. Everyone thought she was going to adjust her veil or step aside for a photo. But no, she turned, whispered something to her bridesmaid, then walked calmly toward the back of the compound. At first nobody noticed. The music had resumed. People were distracted, eating and dancing, but I was watching. She walked past me. Our eyes met for just a second. Hers were wide, desperate, like someone trapped in a room full of smoke. She disappeared behind the kitchen hut. 10 seconds passed, then 20. A scream broke the air. "She's gone!" Another shout followed. "The bride! She's missing!" People rushed in all directions. The compound turned to chaos. Drummers stopped. The MC stammered. Plates fell. Chairs scattered. I stepped aside quickly, heart pounding. The groom stood up, confused. His father, Chief Udo, rose to his feet, face boiling with rage. "What do you mean she's gone?" he roared. A small man, sweating and panting, ran up to him. "She left through the back gate, got on a bike. She's gone. She ran away." Chief Udo threw his cap on the ground. "Close the gates. Nobody leaves." People screamed. Guests started to panic. Some women began crying. The groom stood still, silent. He didn't look surprised, only tired. One of the elders turned to him. "Cheeky, what is this?" He shook his head. "She didn't want this, I told you all." "Then why did you agree to marry her?" Cheeky sighed. "Because it was expected." The chief shouted again. We must fix this. Guests are here, food is ready, our name cannot be disgraced like this. He turned to the elders. Do something. Then someone said it. A woman with long arms and sharp eyes. There's a girl, I saw her earlier. She's young, pretty, village-born. She's still here. I froze. Everyone turned. Who? The chief barked. She pointed. At the back, serving drinks. I felt the earth shift beneath me. They were talking about me. 2 men came and grabbed me gently but firmly. Come, one Samt said. The chief wants to see you. I couldn't speak. My legs moved on their own. They brought me before the elders, before Cheeky, before the angry, red-eyed chief. He looked me up and down. What's your name? Amara, I whispered. From which family? I live near the old church. My mother is Madame Akudo. One of the elders nodded. I know her, hard woman. She has 3 daughters. This is the middle one. The chief turned to his son. What do you think? Chicky looked at me for a long time, then said, She doesn't want this. I didn't ask what she wants, the chief snapped. I asked you. Silence. Then the elder said, We can still save face. The guests are hungry. The bride ran away. We marry the village girl. Gasps. What? I said, voice cracking. Silence! The chief bellowed. He leaned close, eyes burning. You will marry my son. The room spun. Marry the groom? I stammered. Yes. The groom sighed. I felt cold. I wanted to run, but I was trapped. And that is how I ended up at the wedding I was never meant to attend.